Hello folks, this is one of the best all-round lease deal videos I think we've had for a long time. This one, as a reminder, is for petrols, diesels, hybrids, etc. The full EVs were in a video I released a couple of days ago, so go and check that one out if you're interested in full EVs, but we don't have any of them here. Some of these are 2-year deals, some are 3-year deals, so keep an eye out for that. All on 10,000 miles a year with 3 months up front as the initial payment. We've got hot hatches, we've got SUVs, we've got small cars, literally everything's in this, and there are some really outstanding deals, the likes of which we haven't seen for a while on internal combustion engine cars, in my opinion. Links to ALA Insurance, today's sponsors, and of course to Lease Loco are in the video description and pinned as a top comment. Using those helps me to do this, as do these, so please give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up ratio has been rubbish lately, so please, it takes a second and it really helps me out. Let's get going, shall we? We are kicking things off with the brilliant little Hyundai i20. This is the 1 litre TGDI Advance, £236 a month with 708 up front. You'll see it says nav here. That's because it's got the navigation system as standard. 11.1 seconds to 62, 52 mpg, 100 brake horsepower, insurance group 13, and 352 litres of boot space. A lot of people talk about, well, the Fiesta's gone. This is better than the last Fiesta, in my personal opinion. I drove both and I prefer this. 708 up front, 236 a month. This one is a 3-year deal. Let's have a look at the history on it. 279's been the average. This is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. At its peak, it was 341. Currently yours for 236. Peugeot 2008 1.2 PureTech 130 GT automatic, 9.4 seconds to 62, 45 mpg, 131 brake horsepower, insurance group 16, and 434 litres of boot space. £825 up front and 275 a month. This one's on a 2-year deal. A lot of people will be shouting wet belt. It's a chain in them now, I believe, and has been for a while. 358's been the average on it. 635 when it was at its peak. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. This time last year it was 429 a month. It's currently 275, which is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. Next, we've got the Amoda 5 TGDI Noble DCT automatic gearbox, 7.9 seconds to 62, 31.2 mpg, insurance group 33, 380 litres of boot space, and 186 brake horsepower. Amoda's one of these new entrants from China. I haven't driven one as yet. 827 up front and 275 a month. That's quite a decent sized car for 275 quid a month. 358 a month has been the average. 524 when it launched, and this time last year it was 524. They kept it there for about a month, 6 weeks, and then boof, it came down to sort of 380. But this is the best price we've seen it so far. Actually, it's not. It was £3 a month less than this about 3 weeks ago. It's currently 275 a month with 827 up front. Next, we've got the Skoda Kamiq 1 litre Monte Carlo edition, £294 a month with 883 up front, 400 litres boot space, insurance group 16, 9.7 seconds to 62, and nearly 51 mpg. 382 has been the average on this one. At its lowest point, it was 50p a month less than it is right now. So we are more or less at its lowest point. 462 at its peak, currently 294 with 883 up front, and that one's on a 3-year deal. Really nice little car, the Kamiq. Lots of space considering the size of the footprint of the car. Nice thing to drive. Can't go too far wrong with it. Say a Tekka 1.5 TSI Evo. This is FR trim and an automatic gearbox. This is a brilliant car for this much money. And if you're looking for that sort of mid-size SUV, I mean, it's stunning value at the moment. 878 up front, 292 a month, 510 litres of boot space, insurance group 18, 150 horsepower, 42.8 mpg, and 9 seconds to 62. 379's been the average on it, 468 at its peak, and it's currently 3 or 4 quid more than it was at its lowest point, which was just before Christmas, I think. It was 288 then. It's currently 292. Brilliant value. Great car. If you're thinking about getting yourself a lease car or indeed buying a new car, you certainly need to be thinking about getting gap insurance. Someone asked me in the last video, why on earth would you have gap insurance for a car you don't own? Well, because you don't own it, and if it gets written off, there may be a sizable shortfall that you have to pay to the company that does own it, i.e. the finance company, the lease company. On a lot of the cars in this video, you're probably looking at around about 50 quid a year to get yourself a decent level of gap insurance cover. If you use the code JIM10 at checkout, you can get yourself 10% off. ALA is a family business. They don't have commission salespeople, they have customer service people, and there's a massive difference between the two, believe me. Fantastic company to deal with. Give them a call on 01653 916 304 or go to ala.co.uk and get a quote right now. That code JIM10, by the way, applies site-wide, so if you're looking for any other products, they do breakdown cover now. You've got scratch and dent cover, all that kind of stuff. ALA can help you out. There's a QR code coming up on the screen or a link in the video description, or you can just navigate to the site yourself and use that code JIM10. You can also use it over the phone. Thanks to ALA for sponsoring today's video. One of the UK's most popular cars year on year is next. It's the Nissan Qashqai 1.3 Digit mild hybrid N design. £320 a month with 962 up front. This one's a 3-year deal, 479 litres of boot space, insurance group 20 and 44 mpg. 394 a month on average, 490 at its peak. This is the lowest price we've seen so far, £320 and 78 pence a month with an upfront of 962. Nice car, loads of spec on it. This one's sort of hot off the press, so they haven't got all the latest figures on here by the looks of it. But Qashqai is a great car to have new, and I have no doubt that anyone that goes for one of those will be nicely surprised. This one's in stock as well, so you might want to jump on that fairly quickly if you want to secure it for that price, because the in-stock stuff does go quite quickly at times. Cupra Ateca 1.5 Eco TSI V2 DSG automatic, £330 a month with 992 up front. 9.3 seconds to 62, 42 mpg, 150 horsepower, insurance group 18 and 510 litres of boot space. We've already seen the Seat Ateca in this video, which is superb value. If you just want something a little bit more stylish and with the automatic gearbox, then you could do a lot worse than having a look at this one. You can see the average price on this has been 365 and this is only 330, but the lowest point on this was only 9 pence. Less than it is right now, so it is very, very good value. It's just the pricing tends to be pretty steady on these. We just had a time sort of in last May when it went up a bit, but they soon dropped it down again. It's just a really good value for money, solid car. Cupra Formentor, we've got the same drivetrain and everything in this, so a lot of the numbers are very similar. 450 litres of boot space in this one, insurance group 22, 1100 up front and 364 a month. The Formentor's a great looking car and it's a lovely thing to drive. It sits lower than the Ateca. It's more like crossover than it is like a full-on SUV, and I think it's a beautiful car inside and out. 419 a month's been the average on it, 364 at the moment with 1100 up front on 10,000 miles a year. It was a £5 less a month at its lowest point, so I don't think that's too bad at all, especially when you consider at its peak it was about 150 quid a month more than it is right now, and on average it's about 50-60 quid a month more than it is right now. So it looks like a good time to get one. Again, it's in stock, so you must move quickly. The Alfa Romeo Tonale, I think, is one of the best looking cars in its class. 8.8 seconds to 62, 49 mpg, 160 brake horsepower, insurance group 29 and 500 litres of boot space. 365 a month with 1100 up front on this one. Again, this one's in stock. Now, 348 was the lower point on this car, but that was a long time ago, I think. Yeah, so that was in November. Since then, the prices have been significantly higher. We've seen it even up at 656, which is nuts. 365 at the moment, average 477, peak of 656. 1100 up front on that one. It's a 3-year deal, £365 a month. Right, we've got the VW Tiguan Allspace. Quite a lot of German stuff coming up in the rest of the video, by the way. 1.5 TSI Life automatic, 9.6 seconds to 62, 39 mpg, 150 horsepower, insurance group 21 and 700 litres of boot space, 1100 up front, 367 a month. That is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. The average on it's been 448 and at its peak 537. Again, another brilliant car. The Tiguan is VW's biggest selling car, and it's their biggest selling car by a country mile. And there's a reason for that. It's very, very good. Another brilliant VW is the Passat Estate 1.5 TSI e-hybrid R-Line DSG automatic. This one's the plug-in hybrid, and I think that's good for about 60, 70 miles of all electric range from memory, and my memory's bad, but it's certainly fairly impressive for a plug-in hybrid. 8.1 seconds to 62, 510 litres of boot space, insurance group 32, 204 brake horsepower on that one. This is a 2-year deal, 1,100 up front, 370 a month. Average on it's been £678 a month. At its peak, £924 a month. And we only have to go back a couple of weeks. It was 652 quid a month. This is currently £370 a month with 1112 up front. That's a phenomenal deal. That really is great value. It's in stock. It won't hang around. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in one of these, click that link as soon as possible, because I promise you there'll be someone putting a comment on this video in 2 weeks' time or something saying, oh, they've all gone. That's why. It's a great deal. Nissan X-Trail 1.5 e-Power e-Force Accenta Premium, 7.2 seconds to 62, 44 mpg, 213 horsepower, insurance group 29 and 485 litres of boot space. This is a 2-year deal, 1,100 up front and 371 a month. 484's been the average on it. 579 at its peak and 349 at its lowest point. So we're 22 quid more than it was at its lowest point, but we're well under the average, 110 quid a month under the average, and we're well under that peak. So it still looks like really good value at the moment. Right, Genesis. You've probably heard me bleat on about Genesis for a long time because I adore the cars. I think they offer a level of refinement and quality and luxury that you don't get in the German rivals. I really am impressed by these things. The only place they don't really compete is their engine lineup is not as sort of widespread as you get in the Germans. Now, Genesis are soon going to be getting rid of these pure petrol and diesel vehicles and move into plug-in hybrids and electric only. So I think they're just clearing house at the moment, and this is the time to get yourself an absolutely stunning car at a bargain price. This car is exceptional. I absolutely adore it. It's the G70 shooting brake 2-litre turbo sport automatic with the innovation pack. 6.4 seconds to 62, 32.5 mpg, 245 brake horsepower, insurance group 39 and 403 litres of boot space. £808 a month has been the average on it. £992 a month at its peak, and at its lowest point it was about an hour ago, it was £1.50 a month or £2.50 a month less than it is right now. This is a fantastic deal on an exceptionally good car. It's in stock. If you want this, jump on it. That's a 3-year deal, by the way. Folks, just a very quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks. Now, sticking with Genesis, we've also got the G70, basically the same car, but in saloon version rather than estate version or shooting brake version. So very similar numbers when we look at everything. And again, we've got very similar numbers here. 397 at the moment with 1,200 up front. The lowest point was £3 a month less than it is now. At its peak, 965, on average 785. Again, I cannot stress enough, if you want to secure these cars at these prices when they're in stock, you need to act. Cupra Terramar 1.5 ETSI 150 V2 DSG, 421 a month with 1,265 up front. It's 50 quid below the average on it, and it's 4p a month more than it was at its lowest point. 9.3 seconds to 62, 46.3 mpg, insurance group 22, 150 brake horsepower. Another good car. Right, and then we've got the Golf 1.5 TSI. This one's the GTE e-hybrid. So it's the plug-in hybrid version of the Golf. 6.6 seconds to 62, 273 litres of boot space, insurance group 30, 272 brake horsepower, and the all-electric range on one of these, I think it's about 80 miles. So that's really quite impressive. £421.98 a month. It has been 20 quid a month less than it is now, 25 quid a month less than it is now. Average on it's been 452. At its peak, it was 571. Now, we had the Tiguan Allspace earlier. This one's the standard Tiguan, if you like, but it's the plug-in hybrid. 490 litres of boot space, insurance group 28, 204 brake horsepower, 8.2 seconds to 62, 1,268 up front and 422 a month. 471's been the average on it, 671 at its peak, and this is the lowest point we've seen on it. £422 a month with 1,268 up front, that one being a 2-year deal. A brilliant car here. I drove the lower powered version, one of these. I was at the launch, but the M135 is probably the one to have if you like a bit of a spicy drive. BMW 1 Series M135 xDrive Steptronic Auto, 4.9 seconds to 62, 37 mpg, 300 brake horsepower, insurance group 29 and 380 litres of boot space. This is BMW's Golf R. 1,300 up front and 431 a month on a 3-year deal. 548's been the average on it, 784 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it. It's an exceptional performance car. It's a lovely thing in just about every way. 431 a month with 1,300 up front. BYD Seal U, this is the 1.5 DMI all-wheel drive design, automatic, 1,353 up front and 451 a month. 5.9 seconds to 62, 324 brake horsepower, insurance group 40 and 425 litres of boot space. 1,350 up front and 451 a month versus an average of 561 and a peak of 708. It was about 8-9 quid a month less than this at its lowest point, which was last week actually. But if you know, just look at this. For the longest period, it was over 600 quid, then over 500 quid. Currently 451 with 1,353 up front. VW Tayron 2-litre TDI R-Line, 7-seat, big, huge SUV, automatic from VW, 9.7 seconds to 62, 47 mpg, 150 brake horsepower, 345 litres of boot space, but of course that's with the back seats up. So in 7-seat mode, so that's not too bad. Insurance group 26. This one is the diesel, 1,500 up front and 521 a month. 579 a month's been the average on it, 747 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it so far, although the order books have only been open for a couple of months really. £521.28 a month with 1,563 up front. Genesis G80, this is their 7 Series. Okay, this is their A8. This is their big luxury land barge. 565 quid a month. This is the 2.5 litre luxury line automatic rear-wheel drive innovation pack. 1,696 up front and 565 a month. And you're going to see how exceptional the deal that is in a second. 6 seconds to 62, 33 mpg, 304 brake horsepower, insurance group 43 and 424 litres of boot space. 980 a month's been the average on it, 1,128 at its peak, and it's currently 565. That is absolutely bananas. That's a phenomenal car. Once again, it's in stock. I think they're literally just clearing existing stock, and it's a brilliant time to get yourself into one. Volvo XC60 B5P Ultra Black Edition all-wheel drive Geartronic, 634 a month with 1,900 up front, 6.9 seconds to 62, 32 mpg, 483 litres of boot space, insurance group 38 and 250 brake horsepower. 692 has been the average on that one, 736 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it so far at £634 a month with 1,904 up front. And then we've got another Genesis. It's the GV80. So this is their Range Rover, if you like. This is the Sport automatic all-wheel drive with the innovation pack, 677 a month, £2,000 up front. 6.9 seconds to 62, 25 mpg, 304 brake horsepower, Insurance Group 46 and 735 litres of boot space. Again, it's in stock. If you want to see reviews of any of these Genesis cars, by the way, I think I've reviewed all of them on this channel. The price history goes back about 10 minutes on this. I think they did some mild revision on it or something, and it means that the price history doesn't mean a great deal at the moment. But you can see that in February it was 733 quid a month. It's now 677. It's a very expensive car to go and buy. I think you're looking at 80 grand plus, or somewhere in that neighborhood anyway, from memory. So at 677 a month with 2 grand up front on a 3-year lease, that looks pretty blooming tempting. If you've got the budget for it, of course. Folks, there are some stonkers on this one, and I just ask that please you use that link to Lease Loco if you're going for any of them. It's in the video description. It's pinned as the top comment. And please support my sponsors, ala.co.uk. I think they're a fantastic company to deal with. I've got my own gap insurance with them. I had gap insurance with them on my last car. I think it's a brilliant company to deal with. And I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor. I only take sponsors that I believe in. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.